In this video, I will be talking about CSS Flexbox, including what it is, why it's important in web design, and what it is typically used for. Then, I'll do a live coding demo showing how to use CSS Flexbox to center a div. So what is Flexbox? Flexbox is also known as Flexible Box Layout, and it's a way of laying out HTML elements using CSS. It's known as one-dimensional, meaning it positions elements in one direction, either in a row or a column. It's a more efficient way of structuring elements responsively and an alternative to using floats or CSS positioning. It's important for aligning and spacing elements, as well as building responsive layouts. It helps elements adjust to different screen sizes efficiently. Some examples of what it's used for include positioning navigations, cards, and centering HTML elements both vertically and horizontally. So now I'm going to do a demo of how to center a div using CSS Flexbox. So first we can look at the HTML code here. We have an outer div, which has a class of container, and we have an inner div, which has some text inside. Now if we look at the CSS, we've taken the class container and we're getting the div, and that's that inner div here. And we're styling it with a background color of red and with a width and height of 100 pixels each. And what we get as an output is a box, a red box with 100 pixels width and 100 pixels in height. If I now scroll up and uncomment this code, you'll see that this red box, which had a default of top left positioning, is now centered. So what we have done in the CSS is we have taken the class container, which is this outer div, and we have given it a property of display and a value of flex. Whenever you want to use Flexbox on an element, you always set display flex in the outer container or the parent element. So if I wanted to center this box, this div box, this inner box, I have to grab the outer element, the outer container, and set it to display flex. The next line is justify content center. Justify content is a property that aligns elements horizontally. So setting justify content to center centers this box horizontally. Align items is a property that is used to position elements vertically. So adding align item center centers this box vertically. So that is why this box is now centered both vertically and horizontally. If I was to comment out align item center, you'll see that the box is still centered horizontally across the width of the page, but in terms of vertically, the box is no longer centered. So I'll uncomment that again. Similarly, if I comment out justify content center, you'll see that the box is centered vertically, but it is not centered horizontally. It's aligned to the left horizontally by default. So I'll uncomment that again, and the box is back to the center. Now we also have a height of 100 VH, which is basically providing a height for this browser, which makes it easier for us to see the box centered vertically. If I was to comment out the height, the box has not been centered vertically, so we must include height. So that is an example of Flexbox. We've centered our box horizontally and vertically. Now we've also got some text inside of the box, and its default position is top left. If we wanted to center the text, we would need to add display flex to the parent element of the text, which is this div here. So if I scroll down in my CSS, I can uncomment this display flex, justify content center, and align item center. And straight away, you can see that the text has been centered. Now I have added this display flex, justify content center, and align item center to the container div. The same container div that has the background color property and the width and height of the box. I've added it to this container div because it is referencing the inner div of the container, but it is the parent of the text box. And we always add display flex to the parent container. So if I bring this down, we can see the full code. So we've added display flex to the direct parent of the text, which is this div. And we've also added justify content center to the parent of the text, which is again the div. And we've also added align item center to the same parent, which has centered the text. So now we have a centered box and centered text within the centered box. In summary, Flexbox is a CSS layout model for creating responsive and flexible page structures. It allows elements to be laid out in rows or columns and easily aligned to adapt to different screen sizes.